Joining me on Blitz is Tanya Porter, head coach of the Dawson County Lady Tigers volleyball team. Tanya, thank you so much for your time. I always love getting the chance to talk to you about your team.
Yeah, you as well, Brian. I appreciate you having us and giving us the opportunity to talk about my team.
Absolutely, and one of the hottest teams to start out the season. You started the year, you're 6-1 right now, but started out 6-0 right out of the gate before getting that first loss there. But and 5 wins out of those 6 were straight sets. 2-0 wins for you. And to put it in perspective, this is a team that won 5 games just a year ago, so you've already surpassed that. Talk about how excited you are the way the season started for you.
Well, everybody likes to start out undefeated. It's always a great feeling. And last year was a huge disappointment to us, with all of the quarantining and injuries. We had an ACL. It was just a really hard year. So I wish that we could have done better last year with the talent that we had. But this year, we've had, some people that have stepped up and are really coming into play here, and just a hot first start to the season. And I just hope we can continue and build on the success we've had so far.
Yeah, and you kind of hit the nail on the head. A lot of programs were impacted last year by the whole COVID situation and just the impact it had on the scheduling and just the way you have to go about doing business. But the way that your team has dominated to this point, what are some of the things on the court that you've seen have changed the most from last year to this year?
I think that, we've been building this program. This is our 6th year, and it's more popular, of course, in our community over the last several years. And I think that girls are starting to play earlier and play at bigger programs in the off season with club teams. And so we're finally kind of starting to feel some of the effects of that, the girls being engaged in good opportunities for competition outside of our season. We have several girls that are playing, high level club ball, and when you put them all together, talent just helps other talent to get better. Iron sharpens iron, and I feel like that's kind of where we're at. We're finally at a place in our program where we have really good, solid players at each position, and we even have some depth at some of those positions, which is kind of the first time we've actually been able to experience that.
Yeah, and that's huge in a year like this, because last year you lose some of your, two of your key players that we heard quite a bit over the last several years, Olivia Walls and Haley Seltzer. So this year you brought in a couple of new impact pieces to plug in, Abby Felkai and Cameron Hips. Talk about the impact that they've had on this roster.
Well, Abby joined us. She couldn't have come at a better time, losing Olivia, who was an amazing setter for us. And Abby just happened to relocate from Canada to the U.S. and Dawson in particular, so we were grateful to have her. But she is an amazing, crafty setter that has upped our entire game. And, she looks great out there, but of course she helps her teammates to look great as well. So we have been very pleased to see the impact that she's made on the court. And then Cameron is young, and, we have great plans for her. She's still kind of figuring out some things and how she's going to best help our team. But she is going to be a phenomenal player as well, coming from Cobb County, private school in Cobb County. So we're glad to have her as well.
And when you sat down with the team prior to the first serve this year, what are some of the team goals that you all set out to do in 2021?
Well, we really focused on some goals this year, not just overall goals, but then breaking it down to like specific game goals, and just trying to not get overwhelmed by what we'd like to accomplish overall, but focus, one game at a time, and cutting down on our service errors and our hitting errors, and just the small details per game that I think is going to lead to some overall success. But always our goal is, to compete at the region playoffs, and we have a pretty tough region to do that in. And but we want to get back to experiencing success and going as deep as we can in the postseason. So that's our ultimate goal.
Yeah, and I love that you hit on, doing the little things and concentrating on, what's right in front of you as opposed to the big picture, because you can get lost in that. But when you look at maybe getting back to where this program was 2 years ago, just a short time ago, Elite Eight run that you made in 2019, what do you think this team needs to do to kind of return to that kind of stage?
Um, just one game at a time. We did have our first loss the other night, and no one likes to lose, but putting ourselves in opportunities where we're playing tough competition and coming up short are going to be good for us in the long run. And I think even that 2000, or I can't even remember what year it was, but the Elite Eight run that we had, our overall season wasn't super dynamic, but we played a lot of good competition over the course of the year. And I felt like that prepared us for postseason play. And so that's kind of where we're at now. We have some tough games coming up in our schedule, but also knowing that that's going to help us on down the road to be prepared.
Yeah, and I mean, no better way to be prepared than when you start your region games too, because let's just face it, this is a tough region in 7 AAA. You got Lumpkin County, the defending champs. You got White County, who's played really well. You got yourselves, and then you got, oh, by the way, North Hall. And that's just to mention a few teams. So how do you kind of approach the game-to-game, night-to-night region slate?
Just a lot of preparation. Thank goodness that we have played them. They were relatively young as well, didn't lose a lot in most of their programs, so we kind of have an idea of what to expect, and just patient prior to the game, try to exploit their weaknesses, and make sure that we are on our game and flex our muscles where we're strong, and just hopefully we will come out on top more than we don't.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, congrats on a great start. I know you still got a lot of work to do, but I'm excited to see how the rest of the season plays out, but wish you the best of luck moving forward.
Well, I appreciate it, and thanks so much for having me on, and I'm sure we'll be in touch soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you, Brian.